where are the hearts that beat beneath it? Where is the village of the Acadian farmers, whose lives glided on like rivers darkened by shadows of earth, but reflecting an image of heaven? They're scattered. They're scattered like leaves when the mighty blasts of October seize them, whirl them aloft, and sprinkle them far over the ocean. You who believe in affection that hopes and endures and is patient. You who believe in the beauty and the strength of devotion. List to our tradition. The song of Acadie, sung still by the pines of the forest.
Forest primeval, the murmuring pines and the hemlocks, bearded with moss, and in garments green, indistinct in the twilight, stand like druids of eld, with voices sad and prophetic. Stand like harpers hoar with beards that rest on their bosom. Loud from its rocky cavern, the deep-voiced neighboring ocean speaks, and in accents disconsolate answers the wail of the forest. The forest primeval, but where are the hearts that beneath it leap like the roe when he hears in the woodland the voice of the huntsman? Where is the thatched-roofed village, the home of Acadian farmers, men whose lives glided on like rivers that watered the woodland, darkened by shadows of earth, but reflecting an image of heaven? Waste are those precious farms, and the farmers forever departed, scattered like dust and leaves when the mighty blast of October sees them and whirl them aloft and sprinkle them far o'er the ocean. Naught but tradition remains of the beautiful village of Craigie.
Is this better?
Yes.
Is this much better?
Yes.
Were you going to sit there and not tell me? Thank you. We are honored to have with us, for the first observance of Longfellow's 200th birthday, the matriarch of the direct descendants of Henry Wadsowrth Longfellow, Dr. Anne Hutchinson Guest, is the granddaughter of Edith with Golden Hair from the Children's Hour. She is also an internationally renowned dancer, having danced for Jerome Robbins, Agnes DeMille, having become an internationally recognized expert in Latin notation, dance notation, having her own school of dance notation, having been the person who decoded the only notation that Nijinsky left behind. And this is the only Longfellow bicentennial observance for which she has been in attendance. The matriarch of the Longfellow family, Dr. Anne Hutchinson Guest.
Thank you, Layne. It is an honor for me and a great pleasure to be here today, having missed the other celebrations of Longfellow's bicentenary. So I couldn't miss this occasion. From the age of 8 to 21, I was educated in Europe, mainly in England. I vaguely knew that there was somebody called Longfellow I was related to, but it was not part of my upbringing. However, when I left to return to New York, my stepmother said to me, by the way, don't bother with your Dana relatives. Don't bother with your Dana relatives. Thank God the Dana relatives bothered with me. Cousin Rosie gathered together all my various cousins who became my family. They took care of me, knitted me a sweater, the gift of a winter coat, invitations to the country, many, many things. A special amongst the relatives was my Uncle Harry, Henry Wadsowrth Longfellow, Dana. He had been a professor at Harvard, and when he knew I was there, invited me to come to Cambridge, met me at the old Back Bay station, and introduced me to Castle Craigie, as he called it. Because when Longfellow was a student staying in the house, Mrs. Craigie was the owner, hence the name the Craigie House, which many of the family used. So I had the pleasure of not only discovering the house, but learning so much more from Uncle Harry about the whole family background and the significance of it. I remember climbing the stairs up to the attic where Longfellow had a room. Uncle Harry loved the theatre, and he would on occasion invite me to go with him to the opening night of a new play. He always insisted on sitting in the front row. He wanted to see how the effect was achieved. Of course, it sometimes meant that we got slightly sprayed by a very enthusiastic actor who projected more than just his voice across the footlights. When I was chosen by Agnes DeMille to be one of the dancers in her second Broadway show after her success with Oklahoma, Uncle Harry was delighted. Now we have a member of the family in the theater. The second show that I was in had its trial period in Boston. Wonderful. I was able to stay with Uncle Harry in Castle Craigie. and to go to and fro to the theatre. Staying with me was one of the other dancers in the company. Tessie Carano came from a large Italian family in Brooklyn. And at some point, her mother came to visit. Walking all around the house, she decided a little cleaning was needed. And so she got the can of Babot and a pail of sudsy water and a brush and was about to scrub the faces of the statues. But fortunately, she was caught in time. Just as well, because the next item on her list was the paintings. Another visitor to the house reacted very differently. And this was Ivor Guest, whom I married in 1962, who sits here. Who was an eminent ballet historian. In the summer of '62, we visited Harry. I'm sorry, by then Harry had gone. But as family, we were still allowed to stay at the Longfellow house, only $2 a night. That was for the laundry. I was feeling for the house, especially as a writer, you can imagine. Picture him standing in Longfellow's study, taking in the atmosphere, standing by the tall desk that the great man had used, the chair made out of the wood from the spreading chestnut tree, listening to the delicate chime of the clock at the top of the stairs, and thinking of the children's hour, when the three girls would come in to Longfellow's lair, Grave Alice, Laughing Allegra, and, as Layne mentioned, Edith with the golden hair, who was my grandmother. Over the years, my reaction to poetry was not to like hearing it when the thumping out of the basic metric pattern was stressed. I found I liked freer, more modern poetry, where the poetic idea had more freedom in expressing itself. And that's why I think when I heard Layne Longfellow reading Longfellow's poems, I felt this is it. He has captured the way to present it, his sense of phrasing, of timing, of moments of stillness, just reverberated and struck me as being so right. I was never a poet. My poetry was in the poetry of movement. My writing was to notate important ballets for the next generations. Excuse me. I just wanted to end with a little fantasy, you might say. The night before we are born, we are given the chance to select our parents. Well, of course, you know that's not true. It is the luck of the draw. It is the hand of fate. In my case, fate provided me with a wonderful heritage, interesting, heartwarming, and I do thank fate for that.